Hi, our proud fellow YouTube watching American patriots. We are back. We are true conservative Asian voice in America. In this video presentation, we would like to share with you some news, intelligence data, information, and the stories we gathered, we found out while we are in the Korean Peninsula and in China and in Japan. We are having meetings and planning sessions with our informants, our field operation agents, and the humans planted in several locations in the Southeast Asia and the Korean Peninsula. As everyone knows already, after Kim Jong-Un failed to gain anything out of the Hanoi Vietnam summit from our wise and intelligent good deal maker, our President Donald Trump, he got into so much trouble back home. He, after went back to Pyongyang, his home in Pyongyang, he was greeted by his North Korean people, from whom he tried so hard to keep all the news about the Hanoi summit, what happened in the Hanoi summit, but his people already found out a lot of news about his failure in Hanoi summit were already delivered into the North Korea. So he got so frustrated, and as a result, he decided to fire short-range missiles just a few days ago. I believe it was May 4th, Saturday. Firing the missiles was a direct violation of what he has promised to our President Donald Trump. He knew it was a violation. He violated the promise he made with Donald Trump not to fire any missiles, not to do any nuclear testing until the end of this year. He could not overcome his own frustration, the pains and agony that he was experiencing from the frustration he was getting into. So, what happened? He fired the missiles as a protest to show our President Donald Trump that he was not willing to wait till the end of the year to see how the United States responds to suggestions he has made. He has tried so many times to make several different suggestions directly through his little the negotiating agents like Choi Sun-hee and Lee Sung-kwan, all these guys who were sent to the White House to have a talk with our Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and the Steve Biegun and John Bolton, and nothing was turned out to be successful. So he got so frustrated. He was so frustrated that he decided to protest the no response of the United States government by firing the missiles. And he knew doing so would upset our president, the United States government, but he still did it. He still decided to fire the missiles. What a stupid little rocket man he is. Total dork. But what's really upsetting is the response by the South Korean president, the evil, crafty liar, deceiver of South Korea, Moon Jae-In. You know what? You know how he responded after Kim Jong-un fired those short-range missiles to the ocean close to Russian shore? Moon Jae-in said, well, United States was too slow. They were very irresponsible in responding to the North Korean request to have another summit between Kim Jong-un and our President Donald Trump. So frustrated that he decided to protest by firing the missiles. Stupid. But Moon Jae-in says, because the U.S. did not respond to Kim Jong-un's request to have another summit between Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump, that's why he fired the missiles. And whether you can believe this or not, Moon Jae-in said he fired the missiles, Kim Jong-un fired the missiles, because he could not just sit in his throne and watch his people, North Korean people, 25 million North Korean people, dying of starvation. And he just could not do that. And Moon Jae-in said, well, South Korean government should give them rice. Give them rice. You know how much rice he's talking about? 160,000 tons of rice to Kim Jong-un as a humanitarian aid. But how 160,000 tons of rice could be just a humanitarian aid to rescue North Korean people who are starving currently? What he's trying to do is he's trying to supply Kim Jong-un with the possible food for his military troops. His military troops in the North Korea. This Moon Jae-in, the evil, crafty liar and deceiver of South Korea, he's trying to aid Kim Jong-un to fight, to sustain through the economic sanctions that U.S. and UN imposed on North Korea. So he's trying to poke a hole in the sanctions, economic sanctions against North Korea. Once again, what's going on? Is he president of the South Korea or president of North Korea? He's a top spokesperson for Kim Jong-un. We already found out that. Now, he acts like he's behaving as a spy of Kim Jong-un. Mike Pompeo, our Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, came out in an interview, said, Kim Jong-un sees his people dying of starvation because there's a serious shortage of rice for the North Korean people. And Pompeo said, well, If he sees his people dying of starvation, he should spend the money that he spent on the firing missiles. Instead of firing missiles, he should rechannel that money to buy rice and food to feed his hungry people, which makes total and perfect sense. That's what Kim Jong-un should do. And Moon Jae-in says, he said, well, there was a phone conversation, 35-minute phone conversation with our president, Donald Trump. And he asked President Trump to approve his plan to send 160,000 tons of rice to North Korea as a humanitarian aid. But President Trump could easily figure out this stupid deceiver, this evil, crafty deceiver, was trying to help Kim Jong-un to survive the economic sanctions we have imposed upon North Korean regime. President Trump should not approve that. But Moon Jae-in, he came out in the South Korean news media, and he already announced, well, I had a 35-minute phone conversation with President Trump of the US, and he approved that we should send the 160,000 tons of rice to North Korea to help people, North Korea people, as a humanitarian aid, which was a total lie. This guy is lying to his own people in South Korea, his own people, South Korean people. What's going on? Obviously, he is trying to poke holes in the anti-US, anti-North Korean economic sanctions. The economic sanctions that we have imposed against North Korean regime. If South Korean government sends any amount of rice to North Korea, we all know the rice will be used to feed his military troops, his little followers who live in Pyongyang, who's kissing up to his butt, who's sucking his butt. Only those people. Only the Communist Party members and general public will not get not even one kernel of rice. And when we went to some location, when we made a contact with our field agents in the Korean Peninsula, I don't want to tell you whether it was a meeting in North Korea or South Korea, that our human told us that North Korean people are not starving. They are not dying of starvation right now. They know how to survive. They know how to survive. They know how to survive, even though the Kim Jong-un does not give them any rice. They know they have to switch over to some other means of food, not just rice. They say they are eating tree barks and grass. They are making porridge out of grass and a few other things. They are catching fish in the river, and they are substituting their meals with many other things other than rice. So what's going on? What Moon Jae-in is saying is he's trying to give Kim Jong-Un of North Korea food so that he can feed his North Korean military troops. And perhaps the nuclear engineers who are working 24/7, 365 around the clock to produce more nuclear armaments. The food, if we give them any rice, the rice will be given to those people who are sucking up to Kim Jong-un, not general public. So, Mr. Trump, I really plead to you, if you're watching this video clip, please do not approve, do not allow Moon Jae-In of South Korea to give any rice, to send any rice to Kim Jong-un, not even one kernel of rice. If we do that, if we allow any shipment of rice to North Korea, then Kim Jong-un will not give up his nuclear ambition. Suzanne Schulte, who's the president of Defense Forum Foundation and North Korea Freedom Coalition chairwoman, Suzanne Schulte said, if Moon Jae-in's predecessors, I'm talking about President Kim Dae-jung and Roh Moo-hyun, who belong to the same pro-North Korean political party, if they did not give North Korean government any rice, there could be free Korea right now. Kim Dae-jung, President Kim Dae-jung and Roh Moo-hyun of South Korea, they sent several hundred thousand tons of rice to North Korea. That's why they are still in the power. They are still in their throne. President Trump, talk to Suzanne Schulte. She will let you know. And she will advise you not to make the same kind of mistake that your predecessor made. Like Bill Clinton and Obama, they made stupid mistakes. They got deceived. When Kim Dae-jung and Roh Moo-hyun of South Korean government came to them and asked them to allow them to send several hundred thousand tons of rice to North Korea as humanitarian aid, they said okay. They said they allowed. And that only helped Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il, grandfather and father of Kim Jong-un, during past several decades, since 1980, help them develop nuclear artilleries and nuclear programs. And that's how we are here right now. President Trump, please do not make the same mistake. I hope you are watching this video. Thank you.